Madison County Government Employment and Training Department presents Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act, WIOA, Job Search Workshop. Topics for this workshop include resume and application, cover letter, job skills, interviews, thank you notes, organizing your job search sites, social media, networking, salary compensation, and employment barriers. We all make mistakes, that's what makes us human. But when you're looking for a new job, it's important to minimize resume and job application mistakes. It could cost you the position. Applying for a job online makes the process seem easier, but it also creates plenty of opportunities for missteps that could take you out of the running, even though you might be a great pick for the position. Here are some of the biggest resume application mistakes candidates make and how to avoid them. A common problem with resumes is that they are not tailored to the job. Rewriting your resume for every job takes time. Yes, you're applying for dozens of positions, but taking that extra time to tailor your resume to the skills a job is looking for will help you rise above the pack. Rewrite your past job descriptions to highlight how they make you qualified for the new position. Swap in relevant work experience, professional organizations, or coursework. When writing your resume and applying for positions, it's very important to avoid errors. You want to proofread your resume? Make sure you have someone else to proofread it, since it can be hard to catch your own spelling errors or grammatical mistakes. Keep an eye out for commonly confused or commonly misused words and check for odd formatting errors. Hiring managers expect that you will take the time to polish your resume. It reflects your work habits and quality. It is important to avoid objectives when writing your resume. The use of objectives is outdated. An objective statement aims at defining what you do instead of focusing on the skills that you bring to the table. If you applied, it's already obvious that you want the job. The exception is if you're in a unique situation such as changing industries completely. It may be useful to include a brief summary or description of what you're interested in doing or why you're interested in changing into the different field. When writing your resume, it's very important to exclude irrelevant work experiences. Yes, you might have been the king of making milkshakes at the restaurant you worked at in high school, but unless you are planning on redeeming that title, it's time to get rid of all that clutter. Past work experiences that may not appear to be directly relevant to the job at hand might show another dimension, depth, ability, or skill that is actually relevant or applicable. Only if this experience really showcases additional skills that can translate to the position you're applying for should you include it in your resume. One of the first things you'll want to cut off of your resume is your mailing address. No one needs to have a mailing address on their resume. It's actually a safety concern. The reason is that it contains your personally identifiable information. What you do want to include on your resume is your name, your phone number, and your email address. When writing your resume, it's important to know when to use present tense versus past tense. Never describe past work experience using the present tense. Only your current job should be written in the present tense. If you look at the example provided for the editorial intern, January 2018 to May 2018 was when the position took place. We want to ensure that we write our resume using past tense verbs and adjectives. A few examples provided are pitched, wrote, researched, conducted, fact-checked. These are just a few examples to demonstrate writing in the past tense. Tips for headers, footers, tables on a resume. Tip number 1, don't use them. These fancy embeddings will have hiring managers thinking, could you not? While a well-formatted header and footer may look professional and some cool tables, images, or charts may boost your credibility, it will only confuse the applicant tracking system that most companies use. The ATS will react by scrambling up your resume and spitting out a poorly formatted one that will no longer include your header or charts. So for best practice, when applying online, don't use headers, footers, tables, or charts. How many years of work experience do you include on your resume? It's acceptable to include 10 to 15 years of experience. In many industries, sharing experience that dates back more than 15 years just isn't very helpful for hiring managers. It doesn't support your candidacy to share experience with tools and technology that are no longer in use. Plus, when you have many years of work experience, listing it all can flag you as an older job seeker to employers. If you're uncertain how many years of experience to include on your resume, let the job posting be your guide. If the job requires 20 years of experience, then you'll want to include more than 10 to 15 years of work history on your resume. Let's review some common application mistakes. The first one would be not following the directions provided by the application. Leaving a field blank on the application. Forgetting to attach the correct documents. Not tailoring your application to the job description. You've already tailored your resume to the job description. You want to ensure your application follows suit. Applying for all positions at the company. Applying for a position that you're obviously not qualified for. Not explaining your employment gaps. Underselling yourself. Using improper grammar or poor spelling, or just lying on the application itself is never a good practice. Let's take a moment to talk about cover letters. A cover letter is a one-page document that you submit as a part of your resume. Its purpose is to introduce you and to briefly summarize your professional background. On average, your cover letter should be from 250 to 400 words long. A good cover letter can spark the HR manager's interest and get them to read your resume. A bad cover letter, on the other hand, might mean that your application is going directly to the paper shredder. So to make sure that this doesn't happen, it's essential to know how to write a convincing cover letter. Few key points to take away from our sample cover letter. You'll want to start your cover letter with the hiring manager's name, company street address, city, state, and zip. You'll want to start your salutation with Dear and use the appropriate title Ms. or Mr. You'll want to use the name of the director or the human resources representative, such as Dear Ms. or Mr. Smith. Your first paragraph is going to be why you're writing the cover letter. Why are you interested in being considered for the position? It's key in this paragraph to include the name of the position, and if the position has a number associated with it, you'll want to ensure you put that in there. This paragraph will only be 2 to 3 sentences long. The second paragraph in the body is going to be how you are qualified for the position. The reason for writing a cover letter is to introduce yourself to the potential employer and to highlight your best qualities that paint you in a positive light as the best candidate for the job. This is where you may explain in more in-depth aspects of your experience or skills that may be difficult to emphasize or communicate on your resume. The third paragraph, why you're right for this job. Most job postings list the skills required for successful applicants. Use this information to your advantage. Tailor your cover letter to match the highlighted activities and experiences you gained from your most valuable skills. The fourth paragraph, take steps to make sure we talk further. Your final paragraph should include your strong interest in the position, recap the qualifications you listed above. List a total of 3 qualifications along with a passion for the position. Please enter your contact information so that the employer can contact you at their earliest convenience. You'll always want to end your letter with sincerely. You're going to sign your name and type your name below the signature for professionalism. When writing your cover letter, remember to personalize it. Never use any of the following greetings, to whom it may concern. Dear Sir, Madam, Dear Personnel, Human Resources, or Hiring Manager. This is impersonal and doesn't show a true interest in the company or the position. You must use the contact's first and last name, including the appropriate title of Ms., Mr., or Mrs. For your cover letter, don't just regurgitate the job posting. A cover letter gives you the opportunity and the freedom to use full sentences instead of bullet points. So use them to expand on your resume points and to tell the story of why you're the perfect fit for the company. This is your opportunity to sell yourself to the employer before you've had the opportunity to meet them. The cover letter is your opportunity to highlight your set skills. First, figure out which skills from the job description that you want to highlight. Highlight the most important or behavioral skills the position requires. Choose 3 skills that you feel are your strongest suits to focus on. Then think about projects, assignments, or responsibilities that illustrate your expertise in that area and select one to talk about. Then develop a storyline for the cover letter. When writing your cover letter, remember to keep it short and simple. Most employers want at least a half a page, 250 words, but be aware you're trying to convey a personal message. With that in mind, the shorter the better. So remember KISS, K-I-S-S, keep it short and simple. Job skills are skills that are necessary for all workers to have. Skills may vary depending upon experience or work history. Some examples of job skills are communication, customer service, leadership, professional, analytical and conceptual skills, creative and critical thinking, accounting and clerical, technical skills, written communications, interpersonal skills, leadership and management, essential sales, digital marketing, teamwork, and technology, just to name a few. Let's look at hard skills. Hard skills are a part of the skill set that are teachable and are typically listed in the job postings and in the job descriptions. Hard skills are acquired through formal education and training programs. Examples are computer programming, accounting, mathematics, and data analysis. What are job-specific skills? Job-specific skills are those necessary for a particular job or occupation. For example, a hairstylist must know hair coloring techniques, a clerk must have payroll skills, and a nutritionist must have diet management knowledge. You can typically find job-specific skills within the job posting. Often there is a section in the job listing titled Required Skills or Qualifications that includes job-specific skills required for the position. Transferable skills are also known as portable skills. These are skill sets that can be applied to many different career fields. Transferable skills are those that you use in almost every job. Some common examples are communication, technology, interpersonal, adaptability, problem solving, and teamwork. Soft skills are interpersonal or people skills and relate to a person's personality and ability to work with others. Employers seek out employees who have soft skills as well as hard skills to have a well-rounded workforce. Examples of soft skills can be communication, critical thinking, and conflict resolution, just to name a few. Interviewing requires soft skills. An interview is essentially a structured conversation where one participant asks questions and the other provides answers. The smartest and most qualified job seekers need to prepare for their interview. Things to work on for your interview. Do you have a firm handshake? Do you have a professional, personal appearance? Are you punctual? Remember to stay focused during the interview. Feel comfortable. That portrays confidence. And always be prepared.
First impressions are very important, and a good firm handshake and a look in the eyes is really key to getting off to a good start. When you get up that morning, looking good is really something you need to pay attention to. Get up and look at yourself a second time in the mirror and make sure that you are looking the best you can for that interview. Be on time. Early is okay, late is unacceptable. One of the things that really irks me in an interview is a yawn. Stay focused and concentrate on the interview. After the greeting, there's really no need for you to lead off the conversation. Let yourself settle in, feel comfortable, listen to others, and think through your response and what you want to say. Bring a notebook and pen. There's nothing worse than someone asking for a pen and paper in the middle of a meeting, so come prepared. In closing, don't be afraid to interview. The more you interview, the better it is for you. You start to get comfortable. You start to learn some of the questions. Your response time becomes better. You stay focused. The more you interview, the better you get. It's like practice. It's like playing any sport. So continue to interview, go through the process, and it'll get better each and every day.
Punctuality displays a person's respect for people and time. Punctuality is important at the workplace because it is here that you get paid for the hours you put in, and employees are expected to be punctual and dependable in order to meet the needs of their department. Punctuality is one of the most important factors in evaluating individual performance and continued employment.
Hello, my name is Mike Patton. I am the General Manager of Granite City Works of United States Steel. I come to you today to share a very important and fundamental behavior or trait that is paramount to you as an individual or as an employee. Punctuality is the topic, the fact or quality of being on time. Let's say you are interviewing for a job. Of course, most everyone clearly understands how important it is to get to the interview at least 15 minutes early. We wouldn't dare be late. We all understand how detrimental being late to an interview can be. We already know that being on time is incredibly important to landing that job. It's most certainly as important to keeping your job. But what about punctuality past that point of the interview or landing the big job? What does punctuality say about you as an individual or an employee? It first says that you care. There's no better way to please a boss, satisfy a customer, or gain respect from a fellow worker than showing up on time every time. Horace Mann said, "Unfaithfulness in the keeping of an appointment is an act of clear dishonesty." Respect, of course, is at the foundation of great long-term relationships, whether that be with a fellow worker or the business you're a part of. It says you're a professional. You as a professional have a toolkit of both knowledge and behaviors that serve to create that aura of professionalism. Being punctual exudes confidence. Being on time is a sign that you're available and confident to attack whatever work is presented to you. Your supervisors will see this and will want to give you more responsibility. Reliability. Being punctual or on time is at the essence of dependability. We all recognize how important one becomes when they are dependable. Any boss or business ranks dependability at the top of their list. What better thing to have than a business full of dependable people? People you can count on to get the job done. Being punctual gives you an edge. We've all heard the term, the early bird gets the worm. Well, that holds true for the early bird gets the work. They have a better shot at getting the job. They have a better shot at getting the promotion. All of these things are straightforward and very important. They are important in business, and quite frankly, are important in all walks of life. Punctuality isn't just showing up on time so you don't lose your job. It's about caring about those people that you work with so that you can relieve them so they can go home to their families. It's about respect and dedication. Here at the Granite City Works, we operate 24 hours per day, 7 days per week. We rely on every employee to show up on time for work. If you don't show up on time, you let down that person you were relieving from their duties. You create dissension, and you aren't a trusted partner. Quite simply, it's all about doing what you say you will do and treating others the same way you want to be treated. Punctuality is the soul of business. Thank you all for allowing me to speak to you about this very important topic.
Communication is key in soft skills. Effective communication in the workplace is an important element of a business's success. It enhances relationships within the company and with clients, and it increases employee engagement and the overall effectiveness of a team.
Hi, I'm Jerry Noyle. I'm the refinery manager here at the Wood River Refinery, operated by Phillips 66. Today I'm talking about good communication skills in the workplace. Both written and verbal communication skills are of the utmost importance in the workplace because they set the tone for how people perceive you. They also improve your chances of building relationships, good or bad, with your coworkers. Communication skills boost your performance because they help you extract clear expectations from your manager so that you can deliver the best possible job. Nonverbal communications also play a significant role in people's perception of you as an individual. Are you showing that you are actively listening, or do you have your arms crossed and it could be perceived that you are not listening, not wanting to hear, or you're not giving full attention to the person in front of you? These all tell others something about you. As a leader, you also need to maintain composure to ensure peers and subordinates feel comfortable bringing you issues. Address people in the same respectful manner with good or bad news, just like you would like to be addressed. I wish you good luck in your future.
Multicultural sensitivity. Cultural sensitivity is a set of skills that enables us to learn about and understand people who are different from ourselves, thereby becoming better able to serve them within their own communities. Cultural sensitivity is being aware that cultural differences and similarities between people exist without assigning them a value, positive or negative, better or worse, right or wrong.
Hello, my name is Ed Cunningham. I'm the CEO at Gateway Regional Medical Center. And today I want to talk to you about one of the most critical things in any business, and that's communication. Without the appropriate communication, things are lost, not finished, or done completely wrong. With communication, we must always remember who our audience is and who we're working with. Whether you're a millennial or you're a baby boomer, we all look at things in a different way. The other key is to use what we call the teach-back method, in the fact that when you talk to somebody, don't ask questions that can be answered with a yes or a no, because no one's going to give you the wrong answer because they don't want to look like they don't understand. An example is when you ask somebody or teach them something, ask them a question exactly what you talked about so they have to regurgitate back to you the exact words or the way to make it work. That will keep you from having problems in the future. The other key I will tell you is a strong team is what makes everything work. Having a strong and diverse team is critical. That will help a project become stronger because you get different points of view, you vet out the problems that you may run into, and you strengthen the project in total. Because the more diverse you are, the better the ideas are that come into the program you're trying to develop, which makes it better. The one thing I want to leave you with today, communication is critical. How you handle yourself, the way you present yourself, and the way you work with those around you makes all the difference in making a project successful or a failure. I would like to thank you for the time today, and good luck.
Good critical thinking skills allow a person to draw a reasonable conclusion from a set of information and discriminate between useful and less useful details to solve problems or make decisions. Examples of some skills we use in critical thinking are observation, analysis, interpretation, and reflection, just to name a few.
Hello, my name is Dennis Wilmsmeyer, and I am the Executive Director of America's Central Port District. Today, I would like to speak with you regarding two crucial aspects and qualities that we look for in our job candidates. They are critical thinking and a willingness to learn. Critical thinking is the ability to use imagination, reasoning, research, and available resources in order to identify, assess, and resolve problems or issues that may arise. Essentially, we're looking for the next MacGyver. Okay, we're not looking for somebody who can create an explosive device out of a paper clip and a piece of chewing gum, but what we are looking for is somebody that can quickly assess and determine problems before they become major issues that might affect the entire organization. Just as important, though, in our candidates is that willingness to learn. I would much rather hire an individual who has a strong desire to learn on a daily basis that may not have a whole lot of the experience, rather than that individual who's very qualified, but does not ask questions, is not a team player, and does not seek out advice. Each and every day in my job, I learn something and learn something very valuable. and I expect that all of our candidates and every one of our employees at the Port District do the same. Thank you.
Teamwork is an activity in which members of an organization come together to work toward a common goal or set of goals. Remember, there is no I in team. And if you think about your favorite baseball team, basketball team, or football team, without each member doing their part, the team cannot have success.
Hi, my name is Richard Mark. I'm president of Ameren, Illinois, and I'm here today to talk to you a little bit about teamwork and the importance of teamwork in the success of any company going forward. You know, regardless of the size of that company, a large company, a small company, if you're working for them today, you'll probably find yourself at some point in time on a team. You know, being a part of a team is important because the success of that team leads to the success of the company. But your contribution to that team is also very important because your contribution to that team can really set your reputation for the future, kind of set your career path. Because people will ask themselves, do you want this person on your team or not? In today's world, companies are looking for people that not just have talent, but they have the ability to collaborate and work with others. No company, no matter how big or how small, is going to be successful based on one person's success. It's going to take all of them working together. And you know, when I think about teamwork, I think about a quote that Michael Jordan said when he was playing basketball. He said, "Talent wins games, teamwork and intelligence wins championships."
Personal decisions. We all make decisions. The decisions you will make range from trivial to crucial. What you decide can determine the kind of person you will become. Making decisions at crucial stages can even affect your future.
Hi, I'm Dan Buck, the managing partner of Big Sports Properties. We're the developer of the Powerplex, which is a 160-acre development for sports and entertainment in St. Louis, Missouri. You've heard from some great leaders, people working for some phenomenal companies. Those are the people who actually set the standards, the hiring practices for some really impressive organizations and companies. And the soft skills that they've been talking about all have a common thread, whether that be showing up to work on time, whether that be communicating well, whether that being adaptive and creative, or having that willingness to constantly learn and constantly grow yourself. That common thread in all of that is it's all based on choices, your personal choices. Before hiring someone, most HR professionals are going to do a thorough review of your social media footprint, meaning anything that you have ever posted on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, Foursquare. All of that becomes public knowledge, and they're going to go out and look at it. It can either help you or it can hurt you. But know that if you're out there sharing your entire life with the world, you better be ready to have it publicly scrutinized. I heard some good advice once on social media protocol. It basically said, don't post anything online that you wouldn't want your mother to see. There's a whole lot of people out there missing out on some great jobs because of things they have posted on the World Wide Web. If there are things on the internet that you don't want an employer to see, now would be the time to take it down. Your life choices also affect your employability. One DUI, one assault charge, one shoplifting charge, whether it was 2 years ago or 10 years ago, can greatly impact of whether you get that job or not. Don't let other people dictate those decisions. Don't let other people influence the way you live your life. One decision today, a bad one, could impact your employability for a lifetime. The choices you make affect your employability. Don't let other people dictate your future. Don't let them lead you into bad decision making. Be your own person, make the right choices, and you're going to be able to find that right job. I also believe that there is one choice that you can commit to each and every day, and it'll help you not only secure a great job, but also keep it. And that choice is to be kind and thoughtful. Kind people just seem to do better. Kind people are the great teammate that you want to work with. Kind people will make the right decision more times than not. And every single day, you're given that opportunity, that choice, to be kind to people. I hope you'll make that opportunity happen for you.
Best of luck.
What is an ATS? An applicant tracking system. ATS is a software application that enables the electronic handling of recruitment and hiring needs. An ATS can be implemented or accessed online at enterprise or small business levels depending upon the needs of the organization. In other words, if you've ever completed an application online, you've probably worked with an applicant tracking system. The steps in an applicant tracking system process. Number 1, the job is created. Number 2, job is published to the company website or job boards. Number 3, the job seekers apply. Number 4, applicants are screened. Number 5, interviews are conducted. Number 6, the applicants are hired. Let's take a moment to look at our sample ATS friendly resume. When you look at the resume, you'll notice our individual's name is at the top, Joseph P. Test, followed by his phone number and email address. Below that is a skills section. Listed in the skills section are the most relevant skills for the job that you're applying for. So for Joseph, the most relevant skills he has are certified forklift operator, Microsoft Office, machine operator, hardworking, and many other things. Next, we're going to list our experience. You want to start with the most relevant or current work experience and work your way backward. For Joseph, my handyman service in Wood River, Illinois. He's the owner and handyman. The dates are from December 2014 to present. Notice listed in this section are the job duties and responsibilities he's had with this position, such as mop, brush, spread paints, cleaning solutions, and other compounds. The next section we're going to go to will be education. You always want to start with a higher education and work your way back. So if you look at our resume, you'll note that Joseph P. Test went to Lewis and Clark Community College in Godfrey, Illinois, received an Associate's in Fine Arts. Below that, he has Granite City High School listed with his high school diploma.
First, let us talk about keywords. So when the ATS scans through your resume, it looks for keywords in your resume. These keywords are the ones that are in the job description. Keywords can be some of the duties, responsibilities, or skills. The ATS scans your resume. It is looking for keyword matches. These keywords must be exact. We recommend that you revise your resume and tailor it to fit the job posting. Pull these keywords from the job description and put them in your resume. The skills section is a great place to pad your resume with keywords, especially if you do not have an opportunity to list them in other sections like work experience. Note, remember not to exaggerate or outright lie about using keywords that does not line up with your skill set. Second, let us discuss properly naming the section titles in your resume. Stick to the traditional resume section titles. Traditional resume section includes contact information section, summary or skills section, work experience section, and education or training section. These sections help the applicant tracking system program navigate your resume and place the information into the right fields on your candidate profile. If you don't follow a clear and consistent structure, some of that information will probably be misplaced, which will make it more difficult for the recruiter to review the information in your resume. So stick to the traditional resume section titles. Third, let us discuss what type of fonts to use in your resume. You should really consider. You might think that font selection is a minor detail when it comes to your resume, but font choice can affect how an ATS program will handle your resume. A serif font like Times New Roman has small tails projecting from the edges of the letters. The reason you want to avoid using serif fonts is due to the small tails projecting from the letter may trip up the ATS program during the scanning process of your resume. This could cause sections of your resume not being properly processed or omitted during an ATS scan. However, a sans serif font like Calibri, Arial, or Vandana does not have the tails projecting from the letters. Sans serif fonts are cleaner font. Now let us talk about bullets. As a job seeker, you may wonder if bullet points are appropriate for a resume being submitted through an ATS program. The answer is yes. In fact, standard circle filled bullet points are a great way to organize information on your ATS resume. However, the non-traditional bullet points like stars, diamonds, checkboxes, and graphic images do not always get scanned correctly in an ATS program. Fourth, we want to address your resume file format. Resume file format selection is important. The best file formats for an ATS to scan are Microsoft Word and Notepad plain text format. Note, try to avoid using a PDF formatted resume when applying for a job online. The ATS program may have difficulty scanning and processing resumes in a PDF format. Text-based formats are the best for ATS programs. You can bold your name, company names, and other proper names. You should refrain from using italics and underline. These two can confuse the ATS program. Items bolded will catch the attention of the hiring manager, but it won't confuse the ATS program. Remember, boring and simple formatting is good for the ATS program.
When working with ATS systems, it's important to convert your resume. Convert your resume to plain text using a text editing program like Notepad. This strips the resume of unnecessary formatting that confuses the ATS. Never copy and paste out of Microsoft Word, Google Docs, PDF, or other word processing applications. Remember, no graphics or borders. Use appropriate formatting, such as 12-point font, Arial, Verdana, Tahoma, and Calibri. These are the more conservative fonts. Plain and simple is always best for the ATS. Lastly, remember no abbreviations or acronyms. Interviews by Madison County Government Employment and Training Department. As we begin to discuss interviews, an important word you'll want to remember is prepare, which means to make ready for use or consideration. So as you're preparing for your interview, you'll want to reread your job description, reread your resume, research the company that you're applying to. You'll want to go over and practice potentially tough questions that you may be asked on the interview. As you are preparing for your interview, think about what you should bring. Copies of your resume, pen and paper, questions for the employer, references, but they should be on a separate sheet of paper so that you can hand them to the employer if asked, a breath mint, a briefcase, portfolio, or folder to keep papers neat and organized. As you prepare for your interview, remember to be punctual, get directions, and arrive 10 to 15 minutes prior to the start of the interview. Remember to think before you speak, communicate clearly and calmly, be confident in your message, listen to the interviewer, be optimistic in your words, tone, and body language. As you are preparing for your interview, it's important to understand the types of interviews. The first type of interview is a traditional interview. This is the one-on-one. Secondly, there is the panel interview, where you meet with multiple people, possibly a committee, who conduct the interview to save time. It's very important during this type of interview that you connect and engage with every member of the panel and always bring multiple copies of your resume so they can review it while you're in the interview process. Another type of interview is the career fair interview, which is about 10 to 15 minutes to sell yourself to a recruiter for a chance to come in for the full interview. Additional types of interviews. Text interviews. Text interviewing is becoming increasingly popular with human resource representatives. It's a great way to rule candidates in or rule candidates out. Remember, this is a professional communication between you and the interviewer. You want to keep your answers short and simple and professional. No emojis, no abbreviations, and no slang. Lastly, a good takeaway point about a text interview is don't provide information that's personally identifiable to you, such as your social security number, date of birth, or full address during the text interview process. Remember, the professional should have this information either through your application or through your resume. If you're in an interview that starts to ask you these questions, it's important to not answer those questions and report it to the authorities right away. Another method of interviewing is the phone interview. A call is typically a first-round screening to see if you're fit to come in for a full interview, so nailing it is key. You want to prepare just as you would for an in-person interview. Video interviewing is also popular. There are different types, which include Skype, Montage, SparkHire, and JobVite. Especially useful when the position is remote or the headquarters and HR of the company is elsewhere. Again, you want to prepare just as you would for an in-person interview. When talking about interviews, it's really important that we focus on tricky questions. A tricky question that we hear about all the time is, "Tell me about yourself." Well, the employer really isn't asking you to tell them about yourself. They're not interested in your pets. They're not interested in your hobbies. Really what they want to know is if you can take the question and tailor it to their candidacy and brand. There are several key facets which all executive job seekers should include. Core values. Your strongest work-related values that show your match for this position. They want to know your key skills. What skills demonstrate your ability to perform the job? Summarize your scope of experience that you have for working. How does your work experience compare to that of the position you're applying for? Remember to add industry keywords, the same words that are used within the job description. This shows your relevancy for the position. Let's talk a little further about tricky questions. When answering tricky interview questions, it's very important to try and remember to use the STAR interview response method. So for example, a tricky question could be, have you ever had a conflict with a coworker or boss? Using the STAR method, we would want to start with the situation. S. Describe the context within which you performed a job or faced a challenge at work. Next, we would go to the task, T. Define your responsibility in that situation. Next would be A, action. How you completed the task or endeavor to meet the challenge, focusing on what you did. Lastly is the results, R. Explain the results generated by the action taken. You might emphasize what you accomplished or what you learned from the situation. It's important to follow up after your interview. Thank you notes are a great tool and resource to help you follow up with the employer. 80% of recruiters liked being thanked and found thank you notes helpful when making hiring decisions. Most people forget the thank you note, so if you send one, your name will likely stand out in the employer's mind. If you are interviewed by a group of people, take the time to write out thank you notes to each individual. Take a moment during the interview process to collect business cards to ensure that you get the appropriate names and titles for each individual in the interview. A thank you note should be sent within the 24 hours of the job interview. You can send a handwritten note, a typed letter, or an email. Remember, an email still calls for a professional tone as well as correct grammar and spelling. Show your enthusiasm for the job. An employer wants to know you'll bring a positive attitude to the position. Remember to express your gratitude for the interview. Keep your thank you note short and to the point. Most thank you notes stay on one page. Reiterate your skills. This is a great opportunity to remind the employer of what a great match you are for the position. And lastly, remember to put your contact information on the note. It's just easier for the employer to use the note to contact you back. Madison County Government Employment and Training Department, organization for your job search. Organize your job search. Get organized. Excel spreadsheets or Google spreadsheets are a great tool for organization. Microsoft Excel or a similar program, creating a spreadsheet is a simple and effective way to keep track of your job applications. Microsoft Word or Google Docs, you might want to include job title, where you found the job listing, company information such as name, location, industry, recent developments, etc. You'll want to include a point of contact, so that would be names and contact information. Status in the hiring process. You've applied or you've had a phone screening, an interview, or a job offer. There are apps that can help as well, such as Hunter and Trello. There's job search sites, and Folder and Notebook are always good tools as well. Job search sites are a great tool to use when you're looking for a job. They can help you find available jobs fast. The search tools are quick and easy to use, and you can search a job based on the things that are of importance to you, such as location, skills, qualifications, even by company. And the really nice thing is you can do it from the comfort of your own home. There are many job search sites available. We recommend using more than one. Indeed is a great job search site. Indeed is a leading job site with millions of job listings from thousands of websites, including company career sites, job boards, newspaper classifieds, associations, and other online sources of job postings. Users can also upload a resume and get a personalized resume link to share with employers. You can also research salaries, job trends, and more. Dice is another job search site. Dice is a leading site for tech job seekers. Glassdoor is another job site that's a great tool to use. Glassdoor is a career community site that helps people find jobs and companies to recruit top talent. Glassdoor members also see the latest job listings and get access to user-generated contacts. Google for Jobs is a search site that's powered by Google. You can search and apply for jobs directly from your Google search bar. Once you search and locate positions of interest, you can further filter them down based on things of relevance and importance to you, such as location or salary. It is good to note that Google for Jobs does not pull postings from Indeed. LinkedIn is the world's largest professional network on the internet. You can search for jobs, identify contacts and employers who are advertising vacancies, and follow companies of interest. Illinois JobLink is another tool, which is an online database of job postings in Illinois and nationwide. Employers also have the ability to search resumes that are located within Illinois JobLink to look for prospective employees. Another nice aspect of Illinois JobLink is that you can build resumes within the system, store them, and have multiple resumes posted at any given time. Let's take a minute to talk about social media. What is social media? Social media are websites and apps that enable users to create and share content to participate in social networking. What are the types of social media? Some common ones are Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and Pinterest, just to name a few. Social media can be a great tool to allow you to express your personality and passion in the professional workforce. Your personality and passion can come through from the types of information you share as well as your comment toward other posts. For example, if you're a professional in the IT field, employers are looking at how passionate you are about the latest technology, software updates, and gadgets coming out. Someone who's sharing and talking about this type of information on social media clearly has a passion for the space. Social media has become very prevalent in everyone's lives. That's why it's important to ensure that your social media reflects the best and most positive information about you that it possibly can. Just because your resume indicates that you have a certain amount of experience and skill doesn't mean the employer is necessarily going to take your word for it. When they go out onto social media, they can see your LinkedIn profile and they're going to look to see if that information matches up with what you have on your resume. It is less likely you would fib on LinkedIn when you know you have other colleagues, friends, and contacts out there who are probably looking at your information. Employers are also looking to see if there are any other recommendations from previous supervisors, clients, employers, or colleagues that have maybe offer some insight into what your work ethic or work skills are. When using social media, it's important to remember you are perceived by what you post. Professionalism is a way you would like to be perceived by an employer. While professionalism comes through from your profile photo as well as the information you present with your profile, make sure the profile photo you use on LinkedIn reflects how you'd present yourself at a job interview. And while Facebook and Twitter are commonly used for more personal activity, make sure it doesn't present anything that would raise eyebrows. It's not just about what you show through photos or videos, but everything from your tweets, your status updates, to comments on other posts. Also avoid having a profile that shows misspellings, incorrect grammar, and profanity. It can all be looked upon negatively by a potential employer. It's also important to remember that you can post something and remove it yourself, but it may not be taken away. Other people can save that information and it can be found later. So it's important to remember you can be perceived by what you post. Use social media to help you with your employment interest. Just like individuals, companies are making their presence on social media with their own pages. When employers see you've liked or you're following them, it leaves a more positive impression of you. It indicates to them that you are a serious candidate who's truly interested in working with them. Social media is also a great tool for employers to update the community and prospective employees of things they have going on with the company. This will help you with your interview as well because you can talk about relevant terms within the company. One last tip for social media is to know your followers. A follower in social media refers to a person who subscribes to your account in order to receive your updates. Sure, it's great to have many followers and contacts in your network, but you want to show that they are primarily of people in your space of work and profession. Begin to build a network to include such people. To the potential employer looking at your profile, it's telling them you're someone of value in the field of work who's well connected. Don't just randomly add any contact you can to get up your number of contacts on social media. Remember, it's the relevant contacts who will count when the employers are looking at your profile. If there's ever a doubt as to how social media can impact you as a job seeker, hopefully the information we've provided has cleared that up. Networking is the exchange of information and ideas among people with a common profession or special interests. Some ways to network are through social media such as LinkedIn. You can always join a club, volunteer, connect with a professional organization, make a business card to get your name out there. You need to know where to go. So to locate network events near you, you should try Meetup, Eventbrite, or Startup Weekend. As a job seeker, or while you're on your career path, it's always a good idea to explore wages, career opportunities, and requirements that are needed for positions. Several ways to do that is by using different websites, such as PayScale, ONET, Glassdoor, Indeed, Illinois WorkNet, or Salary.com. Barriers to employment can look different for every person. First, let's talk about what is a barrier to employment. A barrier is an obstacle that prevents movement or access to employment. Addressing barriers. Simple ways to address barriers could be touching up or refreshing math, language or computer skills, addressing age, no work experience, gap of employment, relocation, reentry, and convictions. Again, remember, barriers are different for every person, and addressing those barriers can make the difference with employment, but it's learning what your barriers are and how to address them that will create success. From Madison County Government Employment and Training Department, goodbye, good luck, and best wishes with your job search and future endeavors.